Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video, where today I attempt to take this MR2 from shabby to shiny. Apologise, I don't have the turny wheelie bit because I got too excited and just jumped straight into this one. So we'll drill down the centre of the rivet, remove the flange and tap those holes. Please do remember to lubricate your bit, you don't want to snap it off in the hole. And of course not forgetting my very handy device. So here's the car. Now to be honest, I went to the community tab and I took a picture, that initial picture, and said, you know, what car should I paint it? I got too excited and I just started to strip it down and do my thing. So yeah, I forgot that first bit, but as you can see, I have pre-drilled this one. Slightly different in the kind of shape and method that Matchbox done with this one, and I quite like it actually. Just a small little base here with that retaining clip makes life a lot easier for a wheel change. I was just showing there the kind of where that bottom piece should have been a nice bright white and it's gone like a almost orange colour. But those wheels, we'll put them to one side. They're not going to be used today. So you can see here then that the actual kind of full casting comes apart in two larger sections rather than a, you know, like the body of the car and then a base. It's kind of, you know, half and half, split down the middle. The interior here in good condition, and something's living here. I don't know what it is or perhaps what it was, but I'll keep that to one side just in case I get hungry later. And you can see that the bumper sections here kind of built into the interior, so just kind of makes it look cool, I think, on the final casting, like a black trim. The window piece, a bit of a bugger to get into position, but I really like the detail. That kind of Toyota bit sticking through there, and actually the sunroof is flush, which you can see here. It's obviously raised and then makes it flush on the casting. Great bit of detail in my opinion, and thankfully it's all in one good condition, so it will be nicely cleaned up for later. And then the main casting on the top, but we'll put this into the usual caustic soda method. Gone with 3 tablespoons with this one because I felt that it just needed it. You kind of get to judge, you know, how many teaspoons each casting is going to need. But these later ones, even with 3 teaspoons here, you'll see that it hasn't got all of the paint off, but it's not like it's on there solid. It just needs to be. Or perhaps if I left it for another couple of minutes in the solution, but you know, time is tight for me, so I need to crack on and get on with it. Now, with my fake Dremel, I used these Chinese bits that I bought and paid about 2p each for, but I've splashed out about £3 each, so quite a markup compared to the Chinese ones. The main reason is because those little bits on the cheaper ones just flick everywhere and end up stabbing myself. So with this proper Dremel one, I didn't see any kind of these little bits come out. Now it's certainly more abrasive than the Chinese ones, but yeah, I'm glad I spent out for this, and hopefully it continues and lasts, you know, 10 times as much as the Chinese ones, just to make it worth my while. But we go with the Tamiya Fine in white. This was the last of this can, so I've just had to buy another 2 cans, and at around £10 a can. This is certainly not a cheap hobby, but so yeah, hopefully they'll come sooner rather than later. I do have a grey one in my stockpile, so I'll just use that until the other white ones come. But you'll see I've just added one single heavy coat. Make sure I've got all the kind of little nooks and crannies on this one. Quite a few actually. There's quite a lot of detail in this car. Now you get like the older ones and really you can spray it up in about 5 seconds. With these, especially 80s models, being all there's lots of square angles, triangle angles. Yeah, you need to try and get it all. But funnily enough, this particular style and design, similar to the videos that I put out this week with the Volvo and also the Capri, very sharp and square edges. And during my childhood, you know, during the 80s, and I just didn't like any of these cars. But as an adult, I've grown to appreciate them, and now I really do. So there it is. You can see there's a little bit of an area on the bonnet there, but I did put on a second coat of white just on the bonnet and it went away, so not sure what that was, but it's all sorted. The base I didn't spray on camera, but you'll see there, just added a coat of black. You know, no one's going to see that under the car anyway, but the plastic's getting a bit of a wash and the interior coming out nice there. I'm not going to do any further detail to this. Just a clean was good enough for me on this one. But the window there, after a clean, gets a dip in the Pledge floor shine. Give it a little tap off there. But for the paint, I've gone with the Tamiya blue. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough, so I added a little bit of white. To be honest, I don't think it really done much, that bit of white. It's probably around about a 2-to-1 ratio, and it's probably brought it down a shade or two, but it's still quite that, you know, that very dark Tamiya blue. And then again, around about a 2-to-1 ratio with thinner. Keeping all with Tamiya stuffs. What I probably should have done, because I added the additional bit of white, I should have added perhaps a little bit more of the thinner. You'll notice here that the blue, it's not coming out at great velocity. It's good enough for you know, for this, for paint. Normally I like it a little bit more wet than this, so I'm finding myself, and you'll probably see compared to a lot of my videos, I'm holding the airbrush gun there closer than perhaps usual and moving slower than usual because, like I say, the paint's not coming out as much. I guess in a way I've got a little bit more control with it like this. But sometimes you find that with different paints requires different... Actually, I don't know whether it's just me, but I'm finding that the darker the colour, the thicker the paint, and therefore requires a larger ratio of thinner. That might just be me, but I don't know whether there's any truth into that. So as you can see here with this one, I'm just trying to figure out what I have done, what I have missed. Putting on quite a decent amount of paint in this first coat. I did do 2 coats only on this one. The first one on camera, the second one off camera, just so I can get close and personal without, you know, worrying about what's kind of on the screen and so on. You could probably see in the cup there the amount of paint that I do have, so I was a little bit cautious, should we say, knowing that if I didn't have enough paint left over, I'd have to totally change the colour, because like I say, I've used up all my blue paint now. I do have some blue in another brand, Vallejo. But you know, it's a totally different kind of paint, really, I find, at least anyway. So yeah, using this one sparingly. But I wanted to obviously thank the guys. You know, this week some of my videos have done really well. The Volvo, the Capri, and, well, fingers crossed this one. For watching all my videos, I do appreciate it. And for the guys in the community tab that's given me the kind of the inspiration of what colours to paint these cars, because I don't mind, you know, it's a custom, it could be any colour. But anyway, so everything's dry now, so you got the base there, and I guess you could say base 0.2, and I've added some clear lacquer over this, painted in the rear tail lights and indicators. There's the screen there, shiny shiny. And my recent go-to wheels. This will be the 3rd time I've used them. So, anyway, like I said, I didn't take a pre-picture, which is a shame. But this is how she turned out. I think you'll agree. Very shiny. And it certainly went from shabby. There was a few people that mentioned, you know, paint it in dark blue. There was a few others in red, a few in black. But you know, when I kind of read dark blue, I thought, yes, that will look awesome. And I think, or I hope you'll agree. But anyway, take this opportunity to thank my Patreons. And thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you'll stick around for the next one.